Awake to my voice.
Hi, I'm Adam, an archer with 20 years experience in the field. Welcome to creating fur using alphas in Zbrush, part 6 of a 12 video series on the creation of the fullness from the lovely concept by Pauline Vob. Alright, so let's go on. So what we're doing now is building a fur alpha that we can use in a certain area. So I've taken it to Maya, just using the quad draw, very quickly dropped down some vertices and built the plane, built the polygons. I just put it on a plane and attached it to a live surface of the plane, basically to build the quad draw. So very quick, and then pulled it out for the shape. It really is very, very, very easy, very quick to do. Then bridged the back end of it like so, cap the back, and then we have our little triangle basically. Okay, so that's just in mind. I brought it into Zbrush as that. Creased the edges and smoothed it so it's nice and curved. Change the width of it there to make it a little bit more appropriate. I started sculpting some kind of with the move tool, some kind of shape to it to make it a little bit more wavy. Here I just changed the H tiles of a dot, as you can see in the brush alpha on the left, so you can do like a little bit of a rake kind of style to it. To be honest with you, a lot of the time that isn't necessary, but I just wanted a little bit of further detail. But in hindsight, I probably didn't need that kind of rake kind of look to it. Moving forward, inflating a little bit the hair itself, to give it a bit more depth to it, so it's not just a straight angle from one end to the other as it was in Maya, and I'm adding a bit more definition, a bit more, as you can see there, just skipping back and forth. And I've created there, as you can see, 5 of them in different ways, basically. 4 of them in different ways. I'm then taking each one into Photoshop, like here. I think I'm creating a gradient at the end. So basically it'll fade off in the end, and I'll do it to each one here as well. Dragging the gradient in, doing it to each one. So I've made 4 different hairs. There you go. Basically of the same, just by moving it in different ways. Okay, great. Now we're on to the actual body and the hair and how we're going to use it. I'm using a drag rectangle with the brush as an alpha. And initially, when you see it brushed, you see the top end of it has got a little bit of a hole on it. I've decided to ignore that little bit of a gap there. I mean, so a little bit of a notch at the end. I think it's okay. I could have used the RFF to blur that a little bit at the to center that a bit more, but I would have kept the bottom as well. It would have made this like a circle in between. I've created a morph target as well, so I can basically rub out if I'm not happy with anything there. And just started projecting, drawing that alpha onto the model to push out that shape, basically. Basically. So to iterate the things I missed actually there, if you click grab document from the alpha channel, you can grab the actual document of the shape that produced the height map that you saw, and that I brought into Photoshop and then got rid of and faded out the ends for it to produce this alpha brush, basically. Okay, so I'm building it out now for the tail initially. I thought the best thing, because it is quite easy making these fur hairs, just to show you quick. I didn't want to spend too long on it. I thought a few minutes, 5-10 minute tutorial was enough. So I'm just testing here. Does it look okay? And then looking at the reference again and where else do I want these. Now, noticeably in the actual reference itself, it doesn't really have this much. It's got a subtle suggestion of these hairs, but that's it. So I thought I'll do it in the certain areas. So the top of the cuffs, where the tail is, that kind of thing. So I'll let it roll for a second just while I'm placing these. But you see how I'm placing them randomly, choosing different ones and trying to get that organic feel, which is so important. It takes a while to understand organics in 3D modeling. And trying to adapt and to create an organic feel has a lot to do with like the rule of thirds and things like that. To be able to produce a composition that looks random but beautiful, basically. So that's what I'm trying to accomplish here. Small, large, some smaller ones around it, and so on. using my own eye to judge, does it look good? Oh, that feels a little bit irritating. Okay, I'll go back again. I'll do that again. After some practicing that, you get used to it, so you can do a lot more of this kind of style. So there's that. So I'll let it roll for a second while I continue just dropping these onto the model before I get some more refinement. You see how I'm stippling from the bottom, so it's got a lot of hair at the bottom, and I've just added a couple of more a little bit further up to give that definition to suggest, yes, there's more hair there. So from far off, you're going to expect there's hair all over the body because of that slight stippling of hair in other places, slightly more up the curve, basically up the hoof. I've kind of brought in a bit more inflation to it there as well. To the bottom of the hoof fur to make it look more like how fur would fall. And now I'm using the dam standard to cut out some of those hair definitions to make it more 3D. And testing with a render to see whether it works, basically. I'm now using the move tool to make it look a little bit more rough there. So in some areas, I'm like, I can just pull that out a little bit there, pull out a little bit there, that kind of thing. And just choosing a few areas. So again, keeping that kind of organic kind of feeling of fur, but stylized. I'm just pulling out certain areas like so, where I feel because of my eye, where it's going to work. It takes a long time. I have to admit, it takes a long time to train an eye to notice what is right or wrong in a composition, in some artwork. But you when you get used to that, it's almost like a trick to say, I don't like this with my own eye. It's a little bit irritating. You get a sense of it. I like that. And it can be as simple as that, because you yourself are the same as every other human being with your eye. Basically, you get the same feelings for it. You know where your eye is going to rest is where someone else's eye is going to rest automatically. And that's really how you should see it. So here I'm pulling out more, as I said, for the same as the hoof, pulling out more. There you go. So you can see, you get a real sense that it is fur now, basically, on that tail. Okay, and that's it for now. So just a little bit of the population of the model from the fur and fur creation. I'll see you next time in a few weeks with the next video. Thank you.